Hello, hello. Today we are looking at the second project in Excel SAM project. So the second project is very similar to the first one, if you've done that already. So here again we are creating a simple report where we're going to do a bit of analysis on the sales, total average, highest, lowest, and then the expense. And then we're finding the net profit over here. All right, let's get started. So the first step in this project is you're going to apply Officeteam to the workbook, right? Officeteams are found on the page layout. So if you go over here and click on page layout, you have Officeteam over there. So themes, which is currently being used is Facet. So we're going to change it to Office theme and go ahead and click on it. And you have the Office theme. So that's simple as that. So you click on themes and then you click on Office themes here. So that is the first step. And then the second step is to update the column size and the row size in the worksheet. Okay, so we have the column A, which is this one. We need to update it to 15 width. And then we're going to right click to do that. We're going to right click over here, right on the column header, and then we're going to use column width, and in the column width we're going to type in 15 and then you click OK. That's it. So we did the column width, and then you can see that the row have to be fixed here, so it's not displaying the entire the text fully. So to do this, same way here we're going to auto fit the row. So to auto fit, what you do is you go between the row 1 and 2, just between the border. When you get the two directional arrow pointer like this, you double click, and then it auto fits. So you can also do the same thing by selecting the row and then going to home, and then you can click on, you should get format here, and then from the format you can set auto fit row height, so which would do the same thing. All right, so that's the second step. The third step here is that in cell B9, so which is this one, we're going to find the total. So this is fairly easy. There's so many different ways in which you can do this. You can either type it in directly, or you can use Autosum here, which is the most easiest way to get the Autosum. So I'm just going to go and click on Autosum here. Click on that, and then you can see that it has selected the range that includes the year. We don't want the year, so I'm going to reselect it. So when it is highlighted like this, I'm just going to go and click and drag to select that range. So that's what I want. Okay, and then just press enter. So this is one way to do this. So otherwise you can also type it in directly. So you can start with the equal sign, sum, open bracket, and then I can move up using my keyboard up arrow, and then press shift and press the down arrow so that it highlights it, and then close the bracket and then press enter. So you can also do it that way. So once you have done this for 1 year, you don't have to repeat for the other 3 years. You can simply fill it. So that's what we're going to do. So the range B5 to B8. So there's another neat trick. So if you want the Autosum for all of them, you can also do it like this in one shot. So you can highlight this row here, and then you can go and select Autosum. So that gives you, for some reason, that gives you a percentage here, because I think this is set to be percentage. So I'm going to fix that problem from here. So we can do that. For some reason, it has a percentage there. So let's go and fix it. So you can change this to another format, remove percentage here. The style has been set to percentage. I'm just going to click normal. That removes that. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to undo this, use my first method. Okay. You can press Control Z to undo, Control Z to undo, and then I'm going to use my first method where I select the first 4 values. Let me do that again. Oh, and then press enter. So once you've done that, you can use fill, which would also should fill the formatting. So here you can see that it does fill the formatting, so you don't have that percentage sign when you fill it like that, because it's filling the formatting as well as the function that you just typed in. So you can see the function that you typed in is changing for each location you copied to. Okay, moving on to the next step. Yeah. So we looked at calculating the sum function, and then we're going to format B9 to E9, which is this one, using accounting number format with 0 decimal places. Okay, so we select this and then use accounting number format, which is right over here. Click on this, and then it tells you we're going to go and remove the decimal places because we don't have decimal places here. I'm going to use these buttons here to decrease the decimal place. I'm going to go and click it 2 times so that it's gone. Okay, moving on to next item here. So A9 to E9 will give it the same format as the one shown here. We have yellow, so I'm just going to give the cell color, change the cell color to yellow here. So I'm going to highlight A9 to E9 and then use the paint bucket here, select standard yellow. And then we're going to make it look just like this, we need to apply the border. So it's top and bottom, thick bottom border. So you can find that on the border. So if you expand the border, once you select it, you have top and thick bottom border. I'm going to select that. So it gives a top and thick bottom border. All right, so moving on to the next one, we want to go and calculate the average. So average, you can do that from this location here, just next to the Autosum. If you look at that, is an arrow pointing downwards. If you click on this, you should get more functions, right? So we're going to use some of the other common statistical functions, such as average here. I'm going to go and click on average. When you click on average, you can see that it selects everything above it, all the numbers above it. So this is not the range we want. We want the range to be B5 to B9. So I'm going to select it. Sorry, B5 to B8. And then once you select it, press enter. So that's the average. So once you do that for one of them, you can fill for the rest. Now you have an option here. You can either do this and fill it one at a time, or you can do the highest and lowest and then do the filling. It's easier. So it's up to you to choose. So I'm going to fill it first this way. And then let's go on to the next one here. So here you're going to find the highest is max. I'm going to just type it in, max. And I'm going to select the range, highlight the range. So that's going to be B5 to B8, close bracket, enter. And then you fill it to the right. And then do the same thing for this one. So it's going to be min. And our range, I'm just going to type in the range, it's B5 colon B8. So that's a range. You can see that range being selected on the top. So that is correct. And then press enter. And and then we fill to the right. So that is all done. All right, so we'll do the profit generated per year. So this is the difference between the sales and the expense. So here we have to write a formula. We'll start with the equal sign here, equal, and we're going to say it's our sales is in B9 minus B19 is where you can find the total expense, and that would be your formula. So when you press enter, it should give you the profit for that financial year. And then you fill to the right, and you can see that we're having a loss on 2019, so it's in brackets. In accounting number format, the brackets indicate negative sign, a negative number. So it's loss here. And then these are all profits. And then let's say that we want to use conditional formatting to show any losses. So to do this, you can highlight this and then go and use conditional formatting. And conditional formatting, we are going to use new rule option. Okay, so we're going to use new rule here. And that brings us this dialog. And in this dialog, we're going to use format only the cells that contain, if the cell value is less than 0, we're going to highlight it. Okay, so this is our condition here. So it checks for this condition. The cell value, which is the value which is stored in the cell, is less than 0. That is, it's a negative value. If value is negative, what are we going to do? We're going to apply a certain formatting, right? So here we are going to use format button here. Click on the format button, and we're going to fill that with red. So red from the standard color, this is dark red, and then you have the red here. We're going to use red fill. And then click OK. So it looks like that if it is negative, and then we're going to go and click OK again. You can see that if this changes to positive, say for example, we enter this number wrong, this is actually, for if I change this to, let's say, if I add another 0 here, now this would change, it would remove that formatting because it's not satisfying the condition we set. Right, so let's format the worksheet. So how it's going to print. So here, if you, now let's say you want to print this worksheet, and then so you want to format it before you print. So that settings would be setup, page setup would be under page layout. So here you can change it to portrait. So it's if you look at the orientation, it's in landscape. I can go and change it to portrait. Okay, and then the margins is we're going to use is narrow. So you can see how it prints if you go to print preview here. So that's how it looks once you make those changes. Going back, and then we're also going to go and add a header to the worksheet, right? So headers, you normally don't see the headers. Headers comes up when you print. So if you go to the print preview again, you don't see any headers at the top or no footers on the bottom. So we're going to go and add a header here. So to add the header, the easiest way to do this is using the button in the status bar. So you can see that in the status bar, you have normal view, page layout view, and then you have page break view, preview. So we're going to use a page layout view. The default view is normal view. We're going to click on the page layout view. So that will look like this. So if you go to the page layout view, you can see that this point here, this is actually the center header. I can click on it and then start typing rough stitch. It's all done. And then you can go back to the normal view from here. You can also go to these views by using this view menu. So here you have normal view, page break view, preview, page layout. I'm going to go back to the normal view here. Now if you go to the print, you should be able to see that printed, the heading that you just added. So let's do a spell check here. So to do the spell check is always found on the review. And click on spelling. So there is an error here in payroll. It should end with double L. So it has correctly suggested and selected the right spelling here. So I'm going to click select change. Accept that and select change. So that has fixed it. So we're moving on to employee discount. So that's over here. And then we're going to use flash fill to fill the IDs. Now here, if you look at the employee IDs, it's using the first letter of the first name and last name. So SM for Stephanie Michaelski, dash WO because that's women's department, and then department code is 010. So that's how it is made. Now you can use flash fill to auto generate the rest. So you just need one of them, but since we have a banding here going on, so to preserve that banding, I'm going to do one more. So I'm going to say MA and dash WO dash 010. So once you have these two, I'm going to highlight these two, and then I'm going to fill it down. So once you fill it down, you can see that it doesn't do a good job here. This should be JEME, and then this should be 021. This should be LMCH 034, and then what we're going to do here is it's not applying it properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this and then select flash fill option. Okay, so once you select flash fill, that fixes it. I say here JEME men's, and then LM, LR, and so on. So let's do that one more time. So you have this, fill it. Once you fill it, just make sure you go to this small tag here, click on it, select flash fill. And then so we need to change this to, this is in discount, so it has to be percentage number format. So you can go to home and then select percentage number format for the discounts. So I'm going to select this and then apply percentage number format. So it has 0 decimal places already. So I'm going to leave it at that. The date here, we need to make it short date. So here we can go and select that cell, go over here and select short date. So short date is found right over there. And then we're going to change the page orientation. So remember, we changed the page orientation for this one. So we went here to page layout and then went to the page orientation, which is this. So we set it to portrait, and then this one, for this worksheet, we're going to set it to landscape. So as you know by now, each worksheet will have a separate page orientation. And obviously different page setup. All right, so it's all good. So you can upload and then get it graded. Thank you.